Welcome to the deep dive. We look at those powerful forces, often hidden, that really shape your life, maybe restrict your choices more than you think. Today, we're getting into some excerpts you shared from Arundhati Roy's amazing novel, The God of Small Things. It's a book that just masterfully pulls apart what she calls the unspeakable laws of Yemenem.
Absolutely. And our goal here is really to unpack those unspeakable laws, these invisible rules Roy exposes. The ones dictating love, truth, identity, all within this very specific cultural setting in Kerala. But what you'll see is how forces like patriarchy, and especially caste, demand sacrifice of the individual, really, all for the sake of, well, respectability. It gives us these universal insights into how societies enforce their will.
Okay, so if these laws dictate identity, then the love laws must be right at the core of these forbidden connections. Tell us about that central conflict, Amu, who's seen as respectable, and Velutha, the untouchable man. How does Roy make their relationship, which is so taboo, feel so real, so poignant?
Well, Roy presents their connection through tiny details, which he calls the tenderness of small things. It's just 13 nights together, this intense focus on little moments, their little pact. Tomorrow, tomorrow, which signals, this is a love that just has no future in their worlds.
Ah, yeah, a love without a future.
Exactly. And this very personal, very forbidden desire, it sets off a terrible chain reaction. You see the big things, caste rules, the police, family honor, just bearing down and crushing these intimate, small things. The scandal, the state violence that follows. It's a brutal look at how society polices its boundaries, how certain connections are just fundamentally not allowed.
Wow. And if breaking the love laws is bad enough, the novel shows how truth itself gets completely warped, doesn't it? Can you walk us through that? The story around Sophie Mall's accidental drowning? How does that get twisted?
Right. This is crucial. It's where a lie, a deliberate fabrication, becomes a weapon. Baby Kochama consciously creates this false narrative, turns the tragic accident into a story of kidnapping and assault. Why? To protect the family's reputation.
Just to save face.
To save face. And this lie directly triggers the police action against Velutha. And Roy calls him the God of Small Things, the title of the book itself, linking him to fragility, to beauty, but also to inevitable loss. He represents everything vulnerable that gets crushed by these bigger, colder forces. It really lays bare the mechanics. Punish female desire, sacrifice the untouchable, make sure the respectable story wins out over the intimate truth.
And the impact on the children, Rahel and Esta. It's just heartbreaking. They're caught right in the middle. Roy says they smell the odor of history, this collective violence that kind of seeps into their lives, even though they feel they had nothing to do with it.
Exactly. And Esta's silent yes to the police, identifying Velutha. That moment becomes this source of immense guilt, leading to his adult silence. You see the family just shatter around them. Roy describes it as sensory fragments that no longer assemble, a powerful image of their broken world, their broken perception.
That nonlinear structure she uses makes so much sense then.
It really does. It's not just style. It mimics how traumatic memory actually works. Fragmented, returning in flashes, triggered by smells, small details. Think about Rahel returning as an adult to Yemenem, the history house. The site of so much trauma is now just part of a hotel. And there's that image of a buried child's watch.
Yeah.
Symbolizing how these memories, these unresolved traumas, keep surfacing.
And looking even wider, the book maps out all these different kinds of borders, doesn't it? Caste, class, gender, that colonial hangover, the respectability. You've got the setting in 60s Kerala, the pickle factory, the union politics, that character Comrade Pillai who's just looking out for himself. It shows how these larger fights use people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see the family's own deference to colonial ideas, being proud of Oxford connections, looking up to Sophie Mole because she's from London, plus those stark double standards. Mamachi completely ignoring her husband's behavior, but being incredibly harsh towards Amu's choices. And that detail about the history house becoming a hotel kitchen, where nothing worse than puddings happens now. It's chilling, isn't it? How the present tries to pave over to sanitize the violence and terror of the past. But it's still there, underneath.
So this deep dive really underscores the destructive force of these unwritten rules, these fabricated truths in the God of Small Things, and the lasting deep scars they leave on people, particularly the innocent ones caught up in it all.
Yeah, and it definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What unspoken love laws, what kind of societal boundaries operate in our own lives right now? How might those big things still be crushing the small things in ways we maybe don't even see clearly? And what's the real cost, the hidden cost, of keeping up that respectable story today?